Miami condo sales just dropped over 10% in a single month, and we're sitting on a massive 13 months of inventory. So if you've been waiting for a true buyer's market in South Florida, your time has officially arrived. But there is a massive catch. Sellers are fighting tooth and nail to hold the line on prices. Welcome to the great Miami condo standoff. What's up, everybody? Jake Fletcher here, real estate advisor and team lead at the Fletcher Group with eXp Realty. And every single month, I pull the freshest MLS data for you guys the moment that it drops. No fluff, no spin, and I tell you exactly what's happening in Miami-Dade and Broward and across South Florida in the housing market. So if you appreciate that, then make sure to hit the like button, smash the subscribe button so you never miss important updates such as these. And today we are going to be diving deep into the Miami-Dade condo market for the spring 2026 selling season, okay? And let me tell you, the numbers on the condo side of things here are telling a completely different story than what we are seeing right now with single family homes. So we're looking at severe hesitation from buyers, an absolute mountain of active inventory. Properties are sitting on the market for an average of over 3 months, and yet prices are not crashing. So let's dig into the data so that you know exactly how to play this market. Let's start by looking at the pipeline, specifically the raw number of sales versus the new listings. Sales came in at 1,048. That is it's down 10.2% from March when we had 1,167. So that's just 1 month, 10.2% reduction in sales. Not traditionally what you see in the spring selling season. And to put that into perspective, that drop is about 3% bigger than the drop that we saw in single family homes month over month. Year over year, we're down 4.6% from 1,099 sales that we saw last April. Now, I want you to really think about what this means, okay? To be just 48 sales away from dipping into triple digit sales during April, which is historically one of the heights of the spring selling season, that really speaks volumes, okay? And it screams that buyers are incredibly hesitant right now. And why are they hesitant? If you've been paying attention to the Florida condo market, then you know it is a perfect storm right now. Buyers aren't just looking at the mortgage rate anymore. They're staring down the barrel of massive HOA increases, skyrocketing premiums, special assessments that are just absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, I've seen 6-digit special assessments per unit in certain buildings. And that's making a lot of buyers pause and ask, is this the right time to buy a condo right now? But here's the fascinating part. Buyers aren't the only ones hitting the pause button. Let's look at new listings, and we had 2,494 new listings hit the market. That's down 7.3% month over month, and it's down a massive 15.3% year over year. So sellers are also looking at this environment.Ey're seeing the buyer hesitation, and many of them are deciding, you know what? I'm just gonna wait. I'm not going to list my property right now because there's too many headwinds for me to compete against. And what happens to the market when sales are dragging but new listings are also dropping? Well, let's look at the active supply and months of inventory next to help shed some light on that. Our active supply is down to 13,347. It's a modest 1.4% reduction from last month, but we've now seen 7 straight months of reductions in active supply. Year over year, we're down 1,583 listings, or 10.6% from almost 15,000 listings last April, okay? Last April was the absolute pinnacle, the peak of inventory for Miami-Dade condos, and as you can see on the graph here, it's pretty much done nothing but reduce every month since then. But here's the metric that really should have every buyer's full attention: months of inventory. we are currently sitting at 13 months of inventory. That's up from 12 months in March, though slightly down from 14 last April. And if you don't know what months of inventory means, let me break it down simply for you. If no new listings, no new condo listings hit the market starting right now, today, it would take 13 months to sell every single condo currently listed based on the current pace of buyer demand. So in real estate, anything over 6 months of inventory is considered a buyer's market. We're at 13. So, we are in a very strong buyer's market with zero signs of it letting up. And if you're a buyer who's looking for a condo right now, you have tremendous negotiating power on your side. You just have to know how to use it, okay? So now let's talk about the reality check for sellers. Let's look at expired listings versus the close price to original price ratio. In April, we had 2,420 expired listings. That means that over 2,400 sellers put their condo on the market, sat there for months, and then the contract expired. Their listing agreement contract expired without a single buyer closing on that property. So while that number is down 10.6% from March, it's actually up 2.6% from last year. And sellers, please listen to me. This is the danger of pricing your home based on what your neighbor got 2 years ago or some fanciful, reasoning. If your condo isn't priced perfectly for today's market with today's HOA fees, interest rates factored in, if there's assessments in your building, etc., it's going to sit and it's going to expire. But what about the sellers who are successfully closing? Our close price to original price ratio is sitting at 93.5%. That's up slightly from 93.1% last month and dead even with last April, showing us some real stability, but we've bounced off of that 92.5% floor a couple times in the past year. So what this tells me is that sellers are holding somewhat strong on their initial asking prices, but when push comes to shove, they are having to negotiate to get the job done. So if a condo is listed at $500,000 on average, for instance, it's closing around $467,000, okay? So buyers are negotiating, and smart and they know what they're out there looking at. So an intelligent seller is going to play ball, okay? This brings us to the bottom line. Median days on market and median price. The median cumulative days on market is a staggering 100 days. That's down slightly from 102 in March, but it's way up from 84 days that we saw last April. It's taking over 3 months on average to get a condo sold in Miami-Dade right now. But here is where the standoff happens, okay? Despite 13 months of inventory and despite it taking 100 days to sell, the median price held exactly at $450,000 for the second month in a row. So last April, it was $445,000. So we're actually up 1.1% year over year. You might be wondering, how is this possible? Because the sellers who are currently listed largely don't have to sell. Many are locked into 3% or 4% mortgages unless they're being forced out by a massive special assessment, or perhaps they're downsizing, or, there's plenty of reasons that people are, quote unquote, forced to sell. But, most sellers right now are perfectly willing to let the property sit for 100 days to get their $450,000, apparently, right? So they are, being a little bit stubborn compared to, in the single family home market. And so far, the market price is holding steady on average. So how do we make sense of all of this, and what's the play for you as a consumer, whether you're looking to buy or you're looking to sell? Well, we're in the middle of a massive standoff, okay? It's a massive game of real estate chicken. Buyers are hesitant because of carrying costs, and sellers are stubborn because they don't want to give away their equity, okay? So when I say stubborn, rightfully so stubborn, right? Because we've seen a big increase in equity over the last, 4 or 5 years, and you don't want to just give that away, okay? So if you're a buyer, don't let the flat price of $450,000 median price scare you off. the high days on market and the 13 months of inventory are your best friends, okay? It means that seller fatigue is real. Your strategy right now, though, it shouldn't be just looking at the listing price, and you should really be looking at how long it's been sitting, look at all the factors, working with an agent like myself who's going to run a comparable market analysis, compare all of the closed sales, the pending sales, the active inventory that's, competing against your property that you're bidding on. There's so many things that go into it, but just to give you a short little synopsis there, you should be looking at all of these different things to, build a picture around the property. Find the sellers that are at, day 90, day 120, and that's where you really have the leverage to negotiate aggressively, okay? Because if you just hit the market, a few days ago, you're less likely, of course, to negotiate than if you've been on the market for 120 days, okay? So ask for closing costs, contributions, ask for rate buy downs to fix your monthly payment. If that's the right scenario for you, make a strong justified offer below asking, because making a strong offer isn't just about offer price, it's about the terms, okay? And the deals are out there right now, but you have to actively hunt for them with an agent who knows how to negotiate in a buyer's market, okay? Now, if you're a seller, you might need a reality check. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but you're competing against over 13,000 other active condo listings just in Miami-Dade alone, okay? So slapping a high, aspirational price tag on your condo and hoping for the best is pretty much, at this point in time, a guaranteed ticket to becoming one of those 2,400 expired listings. To win in this specific market, your property has to look flawless. I'm talking pristine. It needs to be move-in ready, just bring your toothpaste type vibes, right? It has to be priced at the reality of today's market, on day one, okay? And you have to be willing to negotiate terms to get the buyer across the finish line, okay? Now, in terms of, hey, my condo doesn't look perfect, it's not updated, etc. Okay, at least make sure that it's clean, okay? In terms of pricing into today's market on day one, the most activity that you get on a listing happens in the first 2 weeks, okay? So that's the reason why realtors want to have a realistic listing price. It's not because they want to, undercut you and make you lose equity and sell the property quick. It's because if you waste that first 2 weeks when everybody's looking at the property, it's very hard, very, very hard to get people to come back and look at a property again after they've already looked at it before, okay? So, all of that, plus being willing to negotiate, to get the buyer across the finish line, because it's not easy for the buyers out there right now as well, okay? So navigating this market takes strategy, whether you're trying to find the perfect deal or trying to extract the most equity out of your property. If you want to know exactly how to position yourself to win, reach out to me directly. There is a link down in the description down below to my Calendly. You can book a free consultation with me. We'll do a one-on-one to go over your specific situation. I answer all of the calls and text messages. I personally work with all of the clients that reach out to me. This is not a situation where I offload you to my team and you're going to be working with some junior agent. It's all personally handled by me, and I make sure that you are guided toward the best possible results for your specific situation. So if you appreciate that, once again, smash the like button, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell, share this video with somebody who might be looking to buy or sell a condo right now in Miami-Dade, and that'll be very much appreciated on my part. And Jake Fletcher here with the Fletcher Group at eXp Realty. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.